Okay, friends, let's back out of here and go to our syllabus link. Okay, so we're still in the 90s here. Lots of yellows and weird backgrounds. We're not going to explore every one of these things in super depth right now because some of them will show up when we need them to show up during the course. Resources, for example. I'm going to just briefly dive in here and just talk about what's actually going on this page. So with this one, you actually see all the topics that we're going to be doing in Math 105, and then some resources next to those. The reason I'm not talking about this too much is most of these are going to be accessible from the schedule page I just showed you. The resources page is kind of a residual left over from when I used to teach all these things in class. So in class face-to-face. So anyway, it's still there. I leave it there just as kind of an overview, but you're probably never going to have to go to it all that often. The Excel calculator, I'm not going to open it right now. There's a Google Sheets version as well. It's just something that helps us in the beginning of the course before we start coding a lot to get through some of the math, to take some of the longhand math we do off of our hands. So we'll talk more about that in class when it becomes relevant. Materials, you don't have to open that either. That's just there's no textbook. You should take Math 98 before this and that kind of stuff. Okay, assessment. This is the one I want to chat about because this is the one that I was talking about this on the schedule page. Like you have homeworks due, optional, and you've got the tech assessment, you got quizzes and things like that. So let's go through each one of these. Optional homework. Okay, so every class day where there is a playlist has an optional homework that follows it. Every single one of those homeworks is optional, which means you don't have to do any of them. But you can also do every single one of them. Now, most students do somewhere in between none and all. I figure you'll know when you need more practice. The homework is there. You can also do it, and if you don't feel like turning it in, you can just wait for the solution videos, which I will post for them. Some of you might be confused, like how can homework be optional? Like you either do it or you don't. Well, if you do it, it becomes part of your grade, and if you don't, it doesn't become part of your grade. In case that seems confusing, I've got two solutions to help you deal with that. One is one of the quizzes that's due this week, or the end of week one, I should say, and the other is just we can walk you through it in any of our optional Zoom meetings and chat you through how I grade in this class, which is really straightforward. It's just realize that homework is optional. So if you're running late one day and you can't get something turned in on a Friday at 10 a.m., you don't have to. Okay. The tech assessment. This is mandatory. It's a one-time 20-point assessment due in week one. It's just to make sure that everybody can get stuff turned in using technology well, which sometimes people have challenges with technology, and since we're online, we have to deal with technology. So anyway, it's pretty self-explanatory. You can click through it off the schedule page and you can see. Okay, quizzes. You're going to see at least 2 quizzes posted every single week. You have to do at least 10 of them by the time the course is over. Now, if there's at least 2 posted, and the term is about 10 weeks long, that means there's at least 20 quizzes posted. So why only 10? Well, 2 answers. One is so it keeps you on track to do about 1 per week, which keeps you involved in the course learning. And 2, because since there's only about 10 topics, that means I can offer you a choice of quizzes for each topic. So you get kind of a choose your own adventure sort of thing. And again, this might confuse you kind of like the optional homework did. The idea of this course is I'm trying to open you up for options. Some people are going to want to do all the homeworks and just the bare minimum of quizzes. Some people are going to want to do more quizzes and not so many homeworks. I'm trying to give you options on how you can complete the course happily, and so you maybe even enjoy math a little bit. So you got to do at least 10 quizzes. You can do more, but you have to do at least 10. And I'm going to point you back to the schedule page here real quick in case this kind of weird point value stuff is throwing you for a loop. This quiz on quiz points might be a good quiz for you to do for that first week. All right, let's go back to the syllabus. Back to assessment. Projects. There's 4 of these puppy dogs scattered throughout the term. Those are not optional. You got to do all 4 of those. They're just basically extensions of what we are doing in class. The first one, for example, is on dimensional analysis, which if you had me in Math 98 was a big part of that course. It's going to continue to be a big part of this course because we use it all the time in life, not just math courses. And then each project ties into what we're doing in class. There's a financial math one and a couple on logic. So projects like quizzes, like homeworks, like everything, get submitted to Blackboard. And we'll have one more video after this kind of quickly walking you through Blackboard. And then exams. These are the only things that are not linked yet. If you go back, one's in week 5 and one's in week 12. I'm going to start working on the one in week 5 probably in the first week of the term. I'd like to have it uploaded. Ideally, I want to have it uploaded by the end of week 1 so you have like a month to work on it. So whether it's a homework all the way down to an exam, everything is outside of class. Use as much time as you need. Just make sure they're submitted before 10 a.m. on Fridays. And in the next video, we'll show you how to submit things to Blackboard. Okay, let's back out of here. The grading policy, you can look at this if you want to. There's no need to because I'm going to email you progress reports every Friday. So please get in the habit, if you're not already, of checking your email very often. FAQ. So this is actually worth looking at. If for no other reason, it'll help you with the first homework on that first Monday of week 1. It's basically just literal questions that students have asked me about this course. And some of these things I've touched on in these videos you're watching. Some of them I haven't. Might be worth your time just to kind of poke through it. The rest, these other links, you can totally ignore. There's no reason to get into any of them unless you're bored and you have plenty of free time, which I'm sure nobody in this class does because nobody has free time. You're working your butts off as my students, and I appreciate that. Okay, last video, we'll get into Blackboard. Make sure you know how to submit to Blackboard, and that ought to do it. So let's do that now.